Let's do something we like to call social media checking. All right, what do we got?
All right, our first one comes from the Brad Squad VIP member. Remember, I told you if you guys joined the VIP page, you can put in your questions anytime throughout the day. This is from I'm a Survivor saying, should one be concerned if they received RFE for H4 dependent application 1 year after applying?
Yes, whenever you get an RFE, you should be concerned because they're saying you didn't submit enough documentation to get the case approved.
Next one comes from Kamla Ramzine on Facebook. How do I go about renewing my visa? It will expire on the 16th of November.
You have to go to a U.S. Embassy to renew your visa.
Okay, Nikos on YouTube asked, I applied for my husband and his I-130 was approved. When doing the police report, I found out he has a record of carnal abuse from when he was 20 years old and the girl was 15 years old. That was 15 years ago. Will the NVC deny his petition?
The U.S. Embassy is going to deny it because he has committed an aggravated felony, which is sexual abuse of a minor. So he's not going to get a green card, unfortunately, and there's no waiver for that.
Tox Aiden on YouTube. I petitioned for an I-130 for my spouse in 2009, and 2 years later, the conditional placement was denied. 11 years later, I filed a new I-130, but USCIS is now claiming our marriage is not valid because we got married before the judge signed the final divorce decree. We mistakenly assumed that the date of the divorce hearing was the day the divorce was finalized with my ex-wife. What should we do?
Get remarried now because obviously you're in a void marriage. But if you get married now, I assume you're free to get married and refile a new adjustment based on the new marriage now.
Saliu Ba on YouTube asks, can a conditional green card holder apply for ACA insurance?
Yes.
Okay, next one comes from Meme Sari on YouTube. A person who was in custody and whose request to be returned home was granted. How long is the usual wait for the ticket?
It could be anywhere from a day to a month.
All right, Danielle Fairclough on Facebook asks, my cousin is filing for her mom, but her mom's birth papers from Jamaica do not match. Can she still file for her mom? She's a U.S. citizen. She wants to add her young sibling, and her mom's name is spelled incorrectly, and the sibling's birthday.
Well, submit the birth certificates you have. You could always do a DNA test to prove your relationship between you and mom. You're a U.S. citizen daughter, it sounds like, filing for a mom. You can't include your siblings on that application, though.
HA on YouTube. My I-130 application is approved and the beneficiary outside of the USA received an approval letter with the priority date, but the petitioner who lives in the US didn't. Should he ask for a duplicate or no?
You don't need it as long as you have a letter from the NVC processing the case.
Okay, Reda El Hashemi on YouTube asks, my wife became very controlling after marriage and criticizes the way I look, my religion, and my job. She doesn't go out with me if I don't wear the clothes she wants me to wear. Can I apply for VAWA?
Sounds like it.
Navdeep Rajaput. Go ahead, yo.
I was saying, yeah, because like with VAWA, maybe, you know, you might want to let them know that like with VAWA, it could also be like emotional. It doesn't have to be
it has to be extreme emotional abuse, but you know, asserting power, you know, over a spouse could be a form of extreme emotional abuse. But obviously, we need to know a lot more. But based on the little that I know, yeah, it sounds like it's a possibility for sure.
Navdeep Rajput on YouTube. Is it okay if I file no-fault divorce if my VAWA is pending?
Yes, you can file no-fault divorce.
Okay, Nicole Rogers on Facebook asks, my cousin and her husband are married. He's a U.S. citizen. She wants to know if he gets a PEBT card for his kids. Will this affect her getting a green card?
No, because any public assistance for children under 18 doesn't count against you.
Wayanfa Femi on YouTube. I filed for Wawa while I was in immigration custody. I told the immigration judge about abuse from my spouse that led me to immigration. Now that I am deported, is there any way for my application to be processed.
Yeah, you can still file a VAWA case, and if it gets approved, file a waiver to return. Absolutely.
Philmon on Facebook asked, in August 11, 2020, I applied for my I-131 for travel documents. I got approved mail from Nebraska USCIS office. The processing time said 3 to 5 months. After a month and a half update, my case status for fingerprint on October 1st, 2020, but not shows any date. And where to go, the processing time again updated from 5.5 to 7.5 months. Still haven't got the fingerprints. My vacation is by the new year. So now the first question is there any way I could get my travel document, or the question is there any way I could get my travel document before the new year with your help?
Yeah, possibly. We can try to go down to the local office, explain the situation. They could always try to expedite it.
Ambesh on Instagram, my wife, a U.S. citizen, filed an I-130, which was approved last month at NBC. We have to provide a country of domicile document. My wife is domicile. My wife is also in India since August of 2018. But before she was in the U.S., how do we do that? She doesn't have a house or a car in the U.S. She does have 2 bank accounts and a credit card, social security card, applying for jobs in the U.S.
Well, I'm sure you have some family or friends whose home you can use, and you can, your wife can sign a letter saying that it's her intention to return to the United States with you upon you obtaining your green card. We're temporarily domiciled in XYZ's home, and when we get there, we're going to find our own place to live.
Hey, Sharon Pink on Facebook asked, I filed for my daughter. Her I-130 petition was approved. Now they're saying no visa is available. She's in Jamaica. What's my next move?
Wait till January for Joe Biden, and he'll lift the proclamation.
Tikarama Pokerel on Facebook. How long is the waiting time for an I-130 for a U.S. citizen applying for a spouse?
About 12 months.
Dinesh on YouTube asked, I lived the last 10 years in the USA, 5 years with a visa and 5 years without. The first time I came with a F1 visa in May 2008, then went back finally in June 2018. But now I want to go back and apply for the visa B1, B2, or B1, 2 visitor's visa. So can I try this?
Do whatever you want. Nobody's stopping you from trying it. Whether you get it or not, that's a whole other story.
Donette Bryant on Facebook. Do we still need to file an I-944 with the adjustment of status application?
Yes, that form is still in existence.
Najla on YouTube asked, will the President proclamation, which ends on December 31st, 2020, go away? If yes, when will it happen?
December 31st. What color is George Washington's white horse?
Great.
White. Max Taylor on YouTube. I filed for VAWA recently. How long does it take to receive the prima facie?
About 3 to 6 months.
Michael Jew on YouTube asked, what if Trump and his supporters declare independence for Trump Nation from the USA?
What if Yo-Yo declares independence for Yo-Yo Nation for USA? They can declare whatever the hell they want. Biden's going to be the president.
Right.
Okay, Wani Wallace on YouTube. A friend of mine received her work permit in August. After 4 weeks, she called the Social Security office to find out her Social Security number, but was told to get a letter from an employer before it can be issued. Why?
Because of the pandemic, they don't want people coming down to Social Security, so they only want people who really need a Social Security number at this moment. So they're trying to limit the number of people that they have to service right now.
Okay, D. Beal on YouTube asked, I'm an F1, school completely online because of COVID. I'm waiting on an EAD form I-130, I-485. Are there any legal options to work off campus?
If you filed an adjustment application based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, you should get a work permit soon, but the fact of whether you work on or off campus, legally or illegally, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, is not going to make a difference. Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.